Welcome back students. So let's start. So our next method is using a separating funnel. A separating funnel, which image you can see in figure 3.11, is used to separate two or more immiscible liquids, that is they are not mixing with each other. The mixture is placed in a separating funnel and allowed to stand. The different immiscible liquids form separate layers which can be collected in different vessels one after the other. By this method, we can separate an oil, benzene, toluene or ether from water because they will not mix with water. We can start doing it by like we are adding oil in water. Okay. We know that oil and water will not mix. Oil will form a different layer and the water will form a different layer. So imagine that in this separating funnel you have added oil and water. So this layer is of oil and this is of water. When you start the stopcock, you move it and you start putting the water in this vessel. You can separate it because oil will not mix with it and oil will remain in the top layer. When the oil layer has reached over it, you can stop the stopcock and then you can change the vessel and you can get the oil in some other beaker or whatever you are having. Next is sublimation. What is sublimation? This is the process where a solid directly changes to a gas or vapors, we can see. It does not change into a liquid and there is a direct transformation from solid to gas or vapors. Using this method, we can separate a substance that sublimes, example ammonium chloride, camphor or iodine, from one that does not, example salt, sand or chalk. A funnel is inverted over the mixture placed in a china dish. Please refer to the image 3.12 in your book. A dry test tube is also inverted over the outlet of the funnel. The outlet of the funnel is loosely plugged with cotton. You can't see it over here. They are mentioning that there is a loosely plugged cotton over here. Alright. The outlet of the funnel is loosely plugged with cotton. The mixture is heated. The sublimable component vaporizes and the vapors solidify in the test tube and on the cooler part of the funnel. So, in this method, you can use the separation method of sublimation where you are having a component which sublimes. So, on heating, it will directly change from solid to vapors and it will be separated from the component, right? So, we can use this method whenever we are having a component which sublimes. Our next method is chromatography. By chromatography, we can separate two or more solids from one another provided they are soluble in the same solvent. We are having two or more solids and they can be separated by this method only when they are soluble in the same solvent. The solvent may be a pure liquid like water, alcohol or acetone or a mixture of two or more of these. So the method works on the principle of adsorption. One should understand the difference between adsorption and absorption. In absorption, a substance gets equally distributed over the entire bulk of another substance like dissolved air in natural water or carbon dioxide in a fizzy drink. Adsorption, however, is a surface phenomenon in which a substance is held at the surface of another by a weak force. An example is a dye held on the surface of a fiber. The substance that is adsorbed, example a dye, is called adsorbate, and the one at the surface of which it is adsorbed, example a fiber, the adsorbent. Please you can refer to the image above on the right side. In chromatography, we generally use cellulose, silica or alumina as an adsorbent. That is the layer that you are seeing. Silica and other things are used as an adsorbent. So, cellulose is conveniently used in the form of blotting paper, filter paper, generally Whatman 41 or specially made chromatographic paper. We will discuss the technique of paper chromatography over here. You must have observed that a blotting paper soaks a liquid that spreads fast over the paper. The liquid moves even against gravity, that is upward on a vertically placed blotting paper. A long strip of chromatographic paper of a good quality filter paper is cut out. Like in the previous one, they have mentioned Botman. I have attached the image also over there. So you can see what kind of paper it is. A drop of a solution of the mixture, say the ink of a green sketch pen. Let us take the ink of a green sketch pen, is placed about a centimeter from one end of the strip and dried. A very small amount of the solvent is taken in a jar. The paper strip is suspended in the jar such that the end near which the mixture is placed just touches the solvent. So what they are saying is that you have taken a strip of a paper like I have shown you in the image. So over here you just put a drop of the mixture which you are having 1 centimeter above, like over here, right? 1 centimeter above, and your paper, the end of it should just touch the solvent. This is the solvent and it should just touch it. The whole setup is left undisturbed. After some time, one can observe that green ink spot has moved up the strip and separated into two colors, blue and yellow. In fact, the blue and yellow make up the green, that we all know, right? You can see the image which is given in your book on page number 28. They have shown you how the green ink separates into blue and yellow. Okay. Why does this happen? Because the different dyes, pigments, that is the different coloring substances are held, that is absorbed by the adsorbent with different forces, some by stronger and some by weaker forces. The one that is held less strongly is driven faster by the solvent than that held more strongly by the adsorbent. As a result, the different pigments move with different speeds over the adsorbent surface under the influence of the solvent, and so they get separated. The array of colors on a chromatographic paper is called a chromatogram. One can take a mixture of inks of different colors to have a more colored full chromatogram. The smaller strips of different colors are now cut from the main strip, and the coloring matter can be obtained from each strip by dissolving it out in the solvent and evaporating the solvent. In chromatography, the adsorbent part is called the stationary phase, and the things that move, that is the solvent and solution, are collectively known as the mobile phase. Different types of chromatographic techniques have been developed and named on the basis of the type of phases. Column chromatography is a commonly used technique in which the stationary phase is a column of the adsorbent, that is the adsorbent is packed in a vertically placed white tube like we can see on the right side. Other well-known types are gas liquid chromatography and high proficiency liquid chromatography. Over here, a summary of all the separation methods that you have seen is given. Please go through it. If you are having any problem with this, you can reach up to me. Students, here they have given you a few examples of the mixture that you can separate and the methods which are used in it. We will just go through them because we have already seen. First, a sand water mixture. We have studied how a sand water mixture can be separated. It is by filtration or distillation, right? We have studied. Second, a salt solution. By distillation, the water can be obtained as the distillate and the salt as the residue. By evaporation to dryness, the salt can be obtained but the water will be lost. A salt sand mixture. It can be obtained. The salt can be dissolved in water, that we have seen, because salt dissolves in water and the sand will not dissolve it, and we can filter the sand out of it and we will get the salt water solution. Afterwards we can do any like distillation or evaporation and we can obtain salt. A sugar chalk mixture. Sugar is soluble in water but chalk is not, so the sugar can be dissolved out in water leaving the chalk behind. The mixture on filtration will give the chalk as the residue. So we will get the chalk as the residue, and for sugar water we have so many methods. Iron fillings, we will just seeing by the name we can say we should use the magnetic separation. Iron filling sulfur mixture, in this also magnetic separation and dissolution of the sulfur in carbon disulfide followed by the recovery of sulfur from the solution by evaporation or crystallization. Carbon sulfur mixture, you can use knowing that sulfur is soluble in carbon disulfide but carbon is not, you can suggest the method. You can suggest whichever method you feel that which suit this. And next is a water oil mixture. Simplest, we have seen the separating funnel. Remember that like oil, chloroform, carbon, tetrachloride and ether are also immiscible with water. So the method will be useful for a mixture containing water and any of these liquids. If in paper you are given that this is mixed with water, these examples, so you will already, you can say that no, we can separate these by separating funnel because they are not mixed with water. So just go through these mixtures, and if you find any problem, please ask me. In the right side, the table of mixture and compound, the difference between them is given. It is a very easy thing for you now because you have studied the whole chapter. So please go through this again and again, and if you find any problem in this chapter, please ask me. Thank you, students.